Hi, friends. This is your pal, Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about American politics, and we're going to talk about Donald Trump's $5,000 per baby offer. We're going to talk about Chelsea Fagan. We're going to talk about an incredibly personal statement by Chelsea Fagan, and we're going to talk about the difference between being smart, real smart, and real wise, right? Okay, let's get into this. All right, so I love Chelsea Fagan. If you're not aware of who she is a lady woman economic guru right here on YouTube. And I do not listen to her advice so that I can find out about money. And the reason why, she's just like every other economic guru in the world. She gives money advice for people who already have money, right? It doesn't, none of that stuff helps me, right? I really wish there was like somebody would talk about like using library books and like saving up $200 for something you want to buy, right? Instead of like, here's how you amortize your $200,000 so you have $600,000, right? And she does that kind of useless money. But man, oh man, do I listen to her channel, right? And the reason why is she does come from money from a different perspective, and she's incredibly genuine and transparent, and she's just a brilliant creator. I really like her a lot, and I'm down, man. Like I'm really down with all her stuff, right? All right, so let's get into this. So what did she say? So first of all, she told me, right, hey, Trump just now is going to give every lady woman $5,000 if they have a baby. And this is terrible, right? Because she's super Democrat, right? And so she's like, money should only be spent to make sure babies never reach the earth. Right? Like, and not celebrating that a baby reached the earth. Right? Like, you know, boy, I don't tell you the difference between a Republican and a Democrat, right? Democrats will easily, hey, can we give $5,000 to make sure you don't have a baby? Democrat and Republicans are like, we'll give you $5,000 to have that baby. That boy, you want to talk about the difference between celebrating death and celebrating life? Good Lord, like, you know, and no pun intended. Good Lord, right? Like, yeah, good Lord. Maybe we shouldn't spend money to make sure babies don't reach the earth, right? Like, you know, that's why I voted for Donald Trump. Okay, right there. Okay, all right. So, but here's where it gets really interesting, right? So Chelsea Fagan is brilliant, and the world needs more of her. Like, she is super smart, right? And I'm not just saying that. I am saying that because that's who I listen to on YouTube, right? Now I got a YouTube channel, right? 3,000 people come here every day, right? And I got 3,000 subscribers, right? Like 3,000 people are like, I want your content every single day, right? Like, right? Which I'm very blessed, right? And I'm very thankful. 3,300, right? But people come here and they're like, Scott, you're an idiot. And I'm like, I wish you hadn't said that, but hey, you have the right to say whatever you want. Good luck finding other channels, right? And I get it. If you come here and you're like, oh, Scott, I don't think that's a good idea. And you could even come here 2-3 times, right, and complain, right? What I don't get is, like, I don't spend time on YouTube listening to people that I think are idiots, right, and complaining on their channel for weeks or months, right? Like, I don't understand, like, and that's my point. I listen to Chelsea Fagan because she's wicked smart, right? I spend my time on YouTube listening to only people that I think are brilliant, right? Like, and it's wild. There's a lot of people who have a hobbit. I'm sorry, a hobbit. There's a lot of people who have a habit of watching YouTube to listen to people they think are idiots. Like, if you're spending your time on YouTube listening to somebody you think is an idiot, maybe they're not the idiot. Well, you know, just saying, right? Like, Chelsea Fagan is super smart, right? The world needs more Chelsea Fagans, right? But you know what she said after she said that she thinks it's bad that Donald Trump is willing to pay $5,000 for every American baby, right? That each woman has. She said, you couldn't pay me $5 million to have a baby. She said, you could not pay her $5 million to have a baby. If you offered her $5 million to have a baby, she would turn you down. That's pretty incredible. Now, here's where it gets really fascinating, right? Chelsea Fagan, it is not debatable. Chelsea Fagan is wicked smart. That's why I listen to her on YouTube. That's why I'm suggesting you listen to her, even though I disagree with the vast majority of what she says, right? She's wrong all the time, right? She's only right, I'd say 10% of the time, but she's brilliant, and I love the way she thinks, and I love how open and transparent she is. To say that line, right? To say, you couldn't pay me $5 million to have a baby. That is fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. Now, now listen to this. This is where it gets real interesting, right? The world needs more of her, right? And if she had a baby, there'd be more feminists. There'd be more super smart, wicked smart lady women. There'd be more women who are really good at math and economics, right? But she's like, you can't pay me $5 million. I've never had a baby, and I'm never going to have a baby, right? So Chelsea Fagan is super smart, and so darn foolish, right? She wonders why President Trump won the election. I can tell you, Chelsea Fagan, why Trump won the election. A woman who's going to have a baby for $5,000, who do you think they're going to vote for in the future? Republicans or Democrats? I could give you that answer. Republicans, right? So you getting your butt kicked, like your Democrat luxury belief values, Chelsea Fagan, are getting their butt kicks at the polls, and you wonder why. The reason why is you're not making any more of you, right? You die. There's no more Chelsea Fagan. All your ideas, everything in your heart, everything in your mind, everything in your soul is gone. There's no memory that you were ever here, right? But that girl who took $5,000 to have a baby, that child will put up, her child, right, or children, will put up, will bury her in the ground lovingly and spend thousands of dollars a year to bring flowers, right? And she will be remembered by the kids she had who are voting Republican, where Chelsea Fagan will be in the dirt and no one will remember her. Chelsea Fagan is super smart and outrageously foolish, right? That is astonishing to me. But again, I think she's, completely wrong on everything. But man, I was blown away by this, by her reporting this. I didn't hear this from anybody else, right? I didn't hear anybody else say, "Oh, hey, Donald Trump is offering $5,000 for American babies," right? And and that's pretty amazing. And then hearing that Chelsea Fagan, you couldn't pay her $5 million to have a baby. That is fascinating. I just cannot get enough of it. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.